Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel.
Hope you have a wonderful day. In today's video, we're going to talk about the difference between buying a property in a house versus an apartment. Throughout our journey, we actually live in both and we own both at one stage.
Well, we lived in apartment before and now we're living in a house and we did invest in house and we also invested in apartment. So we're just telling you what we feel like the pros and cons about apartment compared to houses.
So yeah, this is based on our personal journey, based on our personal experience, and in order for us to achieve fire. So without further ado, the first point would be
Houses first, the key benefit, it
Yep.
gives you privacy and space.
Yeah, this is coming up from as an owner occupied experience as well as I guess property investment.
Yep.
So as an owner occupied in that aspect of it, you can put gates
You're just too big.
in that aspect. Like I'm just looking at our property at the moment. It's like gates, and then in terms of privacy of your vehicle, we share car with the rest of the apartment building complex.
Share garage.
Sorry, the share the garage
Yep.
space in that aspect of it, and then we can, I guess, in terms of security as well, we have our own security system in a house.
Yep.
Whereas and in an apartment, you cannot rely on the building manager.
Yeah, so we'll give you more privacy in the house because you have your own space, everything yours. You got front yard and backyard. But apartment where we used to live, it was 100 square meter for 3 bedroom.
Yep.
And now only the house for this is quite big. I think internal maybe almost 300 square meter.
Yeah.
3 times.
So the amount of
excluding the land.
So
amount of cleaning. Don't think about that. So next one, you can customize your home freely.
yeah, so
Too much maintenance, too much changing. But you can choose whatever you want. Like we're doing our backyard now. We don't need council approval.
Yeah, because when we do landscaping in that aspect of it, when, for example, we're changing lights, we're going to paint the house. There's not, the internal and external walls.
Yeah. External, you can change whatever color, but in apartment, you cannot because you have to be consistent color.
I want to have an aircon.
Yeah.
Working aircon, for example.
We couldn't do it.
We couldn't do it, but whereas in a house, we were able to do it within about a week.
I think that was the tipping point when we were in an apartment. I was happy with the space. Space wasn't an issue. I was happy. But now, of course, I moved to a bigger space. I like the bigger space. But the aircon was the tipping point because we couldn't put
split system.
The ducted was been broken since it was built. And then we couldn't put a split system. And then we hired so many people to fix it from our pocket. And we couldn't fix it. And Strata saying they're not going to cover the cost.
Because it was inside of our building.
Yeah. Anyway, so benefit of house. Next one.
Yep.
A higher chance of appreciation.
We realized that when we were
based on our investment.
Yeah,
properties.
Based on our investment property alone, the appreciation value on a land is much faster compared to an apartment.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, and like we look at it, let's say 1-to-1. Yeah, we purchased them. Let's say over I think it was 8 years.
Yep.
Is that right? So over the 8 years period, so our property appreciated a lot more in terms of the house.
Yep.
Versus in apartment.
I think it's the land value that increased a lot.
Yeah. On top of that, also we look at our principal place of home because we were living in an apartment. Yes, it did go up. Let's say go up double within 10 plus years or something.
Yep.
However, if we were to look at the property value, let's say the same figure, I'm sure the appreciation would go
if we were comparing house at that time when we bought it, if it's same price, the house would have gone
a lot
more.
Yeah.
Don't look back. Anyway, so and last one, it offers more equity. So it's same as appreciate value.
And the equity aspects of it, I mean, when we first started, we didn't even think about any of those things.
No.
So
what? Well, but then for our first property, we bought an investment in apartment, and then we did withdraw the equity from there
Yeah.
to invest for next property.
Yeah.
But the equity in house would be a lot more.
It's a lot more faster. I mean,
Yep.
we look at this property alone, the
Mhm.
market value of it.
Yep.
In a blink of an eye, it was like, oh, okay, it increases because a lot of people, I guess,
Yeah.
buying and selling around this area.
Mhm.
I think it was like less than 3 months or something. It has increased its value.
Mhm.
So next one.
And then the disadvantage of buying a house.
Yep.
It will be higher upfront costs.
That is probably the tipping point for most people. When you first started your investment journey, you've only got a certain amount of dollar figure or deposit amount.
Yep.
And it makes it really daunting trying to get that amount.
The entry level is really high for the
Yeah.
house. That's why we first started in apartment and then we changed it to a house because we have enough equity for those years.
Yeah, and I guess depending where you are in life, I mean, we did the apartment one was actually somewhat relatively close to the city, let's say. And whereas a house, we couldn't afford the house in that particular area.
No. Next one, higher maintenance cost.
Yeah. So,
well, not only higher maintenance, and then you got to do the labor work. If you don't want to do it, it will be even higher because you're going to hire someone to do it for you.
You're becoming the property manager. I guess you're becoming the handyman, gardener, property manager, strata,
project manager,
strata committee when you're buying a house. So you got to take in consideration all of those costs involved. And it's not as easy. Because as a property manager, you know the ins and outs of your building, I guess. That you could just ask, hey, who do you use to do this? Who do you use to do that? Whereas in a house, you gotta figure that out yourself.
Yeah, correct.
So
and then market fluctuation, because each of the house they're different. You can't really compare. Maybe next door they sold it for $1 million. Maybe your house cannot sell for $1 million.
Yeah.
Right, and also because maybe next suburb is a more expensive suburb, and this suburb is cheaper, so you can't really compare.
And on top of that, maybe on one side of the road, it will be a lot more prettier compared to your side of the road. Yeah. Just that alone, there's a very massive different comparison between one to another. Whereas in an apartment, usually, hey, what is next door neighbor sold for?
Yeah, it's quite straightforward in apartment.
Yeah, hey, what's maybe that there's less I guess guessing because hey, you're in this building. Hey, you live only downstairs in the same level. Or in that comparison, it's a lot more easier because there's a lot more, I guess, apartment out there versus the house.
Because you have same layout in the apartment and house you don't, and internal, external, they're quite similar anyway. So you can't really do much in an apartment for that reason too. But that would be the advantage of apartment. So now move forward to advantage of apartment. First will be affordable entry price.
I guess this is where, for a newbie, where would you start?
Yes, I think a lot of first-time owner or investing, or you want to own, or you newly married, you want to buy something to live in. Apartment is a really good option.
Yeah,
because they can have 1 bedroom, they can have a studio, or 2 bedroom if you're looking to have a small family.
Yeah,
that will be like, for example, we used to live in Sydney, and then for 2 bedroom, how much would that be? Just under $1 million
in
where our area
in our area. Yeah, so it's about 500,000 per room at the time that we sold ours, I guess. Yeah. So, but back then it would be like when we purchased them, it was a lot.
Anyway, so apartment will be a lot cheaper because we used to live in this 3-bedroom apartment. If we're looking to have a 3-bedroom house in the same area, it will be almost double of the price.
At least double to triple.
Yes, so, won't be triple. It's double.
Minimum
depends
is double,
on how high end.
Exactly.
In house you can be like entry level or high standard, of course.
Yeah.
Next one, require less maintenance. I miss those times.
I mean, like in an apartment, because you have a property manager, there might be like maybe a gardener. If you have a shared garden area, you don't have to worry about that.
We got cleaner.
We got a cleaner 7 days a week that is coming into our building. So when it comes to the rubbish, you don't have to worry to take them out because
you don't have to wash the bin, the red bin. Cleaner will do it for you.
For you. You know, security wise, we've got a property manager. Whoops. That lives not lives more like 5 days a week. Property manager.
He works
so that
there.
helps. And yeah, in that aspect of it, it's easier.
But that's what we paid for because you have to pay strata. And next one will have better safety and security. I did feel a lot safer because first we got the lobby. You need to swipe the card.
You need to swipe for the front door.
Yep.
Sorry, the lobby.
Yep.
And then another swipe for the lift.
Yep. And then another swipe if you go to the car park.
Yes. So in that aspect of it, security-wise.
Yep.
Yeah. Whereas in a house, you got your front door. Maybe you can have a couple of technology here and there.
Yeah, we put some camera, but then like how many can you look at every time? And last one will be high-end amenities.
Yeah, so in our apartment, there was a gym and a swimming pool, which I never used.
Yep.
And
well, there's a gym in there, but when I used to work in the city, I still join a gym because it's not my time. I like to work out during lunchtime, so save me time. But if you like to do it in the morning or nighttime, that would be a benefit.
There's another side. I think we saw a few apartments where they have a communal barbecue area. So and then a rooftop garden.
Yes.
Which
Some
is great.
Some of them with a piano room.
Yeah, piano room, a library, a cinema room that everyone can share.
But I wonder how much will be the strata.
I don't know, but those are the amenities, I guess, that in some apartment that they have.
Yep, and this next one will be disadvantage of the apartments. Restricted privacy.
Yeah.
During COVID, what we like to do was looking across the road. We can see apartments, and then
go on.
There's we can see a lot of neighbors, a lot.
Because we live in a very high dense, one of the high dense, has I guess a apartment postcode. Let's say.
Yep.
So yeah, we sort of like look at each other in the mirror.
Yeah, we can say our
best friend.
Yeah, our friend live literally across the road, and we can see the balcony. Sometimes we call them, "Hey, come up to the balcony, hi." Yeah.
So
next is less space, as we mentioned earlier, where we used to live for 3-bedroom apartment was 100 square meter.
During COVID, that was a little bit intense because everyone's staying at home.
Yeah.
And there's only a limit that we can actually go out. And that was a little bit hard.
Lucky kids were still young at that time.
Yeah.
So anyway.
The next one.
Limited control over renovation.
We can only renovate the inside of the apartment. We cannot decide. We cannot actually, unless you go to the strata committee, you don't have a say on what the renovations that they have on the outside, the external wall.
Yeah, I remember was reading one of the strata report. Someone requesting to put those keypad to go into your house. The pin.
Yeah. So the pin,
the key code
the
thing.
door. Yeah, the pin door.
You're not allowed.
Because it doesn't look
the
same for everyone. So.
The only thing can be different is your unit number. Not even doorknob. No, not allowed. Less appreciation is the last one.
Yeah, with an apartment, as we mentioned previously, it might take a little bit longer for the value of it is going to grow. Yeah,
for example, one of our first apartment invested, I think we bought it for $110,000 long time ago. Okay, 2-bedroom. And then we sold it for $460.
Yeah.
In 6 years.
6 years.
Something like that, 6 years. So and then the other one is in a house. We bought
at the same time zone. Let's
similar,
say,
a house a lot cheaper though because it's in different states. So we bought it 282. We sold it 490.
And at the time's frame.
Similar time frame, but one is apartment, the other is a house. That's our experience.
That's based on our experience. So which one is it correct? Which one for you guys? Look, it all varies depending on your current circumstances and the type of lifestyle that you're having and what is it that you're trying to achieve.
If for me, 1 or 2 person only, not doing anything, 100% apartment.
If you don't have any kids.
Yeah, like that's what I'm thinking. If we ever retire, downsize, only 2 of us, I'll back to townhouse or apartment.
As long as there's an aircon.
Yes.
So it all depending, obviously, the circumstances of how many, I guess, people or how many family members you're going to have, especially for a young one.
Yep.
If you're thinking of having any kids,
or living with the parents, in-laws.
So how long will that take? Can you live with your, I guess, with your family members until such time you can build a house? So there's a different scenarios. There's no right or wrong way of doing this. Unfortunately, you're subject to your current circumstances.
Yep.
So, but if we do to do it all over again, where we would go?
Well, like you say, circumstances.
I can't really.
I'll start with a house, of course,
Yeah.
because you're working full time. Depends on your age.
Yeah.
Working full time, you're going to have a growing family. Why do you wanna buy an apartment and then later change to a house with all the hassle? And then for us, we used to live in Sydney, and that apartment can afford a house in Queensland.
Yeah, that's true.
And then you buy and sell, that's a lot of money as well. You pay agent and then you pay stamp duty. I don't want to do all this double up. I rather have
just one time.
And then maybe an ugly duckling. Of course, no one wants it at entry, but that's all you can afford. Then you can afford. Then buy something that you can achieve, and maybe a bigger piece of land if you can. Then do renovation throughout the year or extension over the year. That's my option if I can ever do it again.
The stress level that we went through moving from one state to another, packing and unpacking, creating memories from the old property to this one alone, that it can get emotional and stressful as well as financially draining. Because at a certain point, you're going to hit from one speed bump, another one, and another one. Yeah, at one stage we were like, hey, we don't have a postcode, we don't have a house, we don't have an address. That was kind of stressful.
Yeah.
When we don't have a rental as well, so we've been living in Airbnb for a couple of weeks until we can find a property.
I think one more downside in an apartment was if we were not having this opportunity to move to Brisbane, we're stuck in apartment.
Yes.
Forever in the same city.
Yeah.
Because we were talking to our neighbors back in Sydney, and then they were like, if I sell this, where can I move to? The only way you can move with the same, similar amount without going with heavier debt, you will go far, far away from the city.
Yeah, you move to either far away from the big city, or if not, you move to another big city, which is the move that we did.
Yep.
We went from one of the biggest city in Australia, being Sydney, going to the third biggest city in Australia, being in Brisbane. Anyway, that's just our 2 cents, guys. If you like this type of content, don't forget to subscribe, comment.
See you next time.
Bye.